What's up? I can't believe it. Hello again. We're back. September. It's over. It's done with. No more September. And you know what that means? Fall's here. And that also means I have books to talk about. Now, here's the crazy thing about September, right? September felt really long. And I read a lot of books. I read more books in September than I've read in any month in this year so far. So we're here to talk about them, as always. But the weird thing about September is most of these books that I read are books that I would have never read on my own. But people that I know kept giving me books to read and saying, hey, read these books. So I did. And some of them were very good, and some of them were very, very bad. So we're going to talk about them, as always. So first off, the first book I finished this month was Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. You may have already seen my video where I talk about it a little bit, but to kind of summarize that video, I was really shocked. It was super good. I've never read a dark romance. I thought all dark romance would suck, but I liked it. I liked the book. I thought it was a fine enough book. I gave it a 4. It was pretty good. Shockingly good. So then the next book I read was Dream Girl by Laura Lippman. This was grocery store slop, as I like to call these kinds of books. This is a book that your dad or your mom is going to buy at the grocery store for a $5 in the discount bin, which is exactly where the person who made me read this got it. It was fine. It had some Stephen King's Misery vibes going on, in the sense that there's a dude and he's stuck in a bed and bad things are happening to him. But it was so it was just so there. Like, I don't know, man. Nothing that... It wasn't bad. I finished it. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever read, but like I said, it felt like mass-produced gobbledygook, and I'm not a fan of mass-produced gobbledygook. And then after that, I read The Lone Ranger and Tonto Fist Fight in Heaven by Sherman Alexie. I usually don't like short story collections. I'm not a big short story collection person. I think they are tedious. Maybe that's not the nicest word, but I do think they're tedious. But I actually quite enjoyed this. I thought it was good. It was very depressing. A lot of, Native Americans on the reservation stuff going on. It was just sad and somber, but like in a good way, in a chill way. And I don't know. It just like, I've never read any Native American fiction before. But this felt good. It felt very real and not sugarcoating anything. Good. Very good. Very sad. But not in like a, oh my god, this is so sad for no fucking point, like some of the books on this list are. And then after that, I read Hunting Adeline, the second cat and mouse book. It was... it was objectively better than the first one, I'd say, just because, like, more happened. But it was a lot darker and a lot harder to read, and just... I don't know, man. I read it. I finished it. It was fine. I like H.D. Carlton. I like H.D. Carlton so much, I then read Satan's Affair, the technically prequel, I guess. It's not really a prequel. It's kind of just like a single scene in that book told from a different character's perspective. It wasn't even 200 pages. It was H.D. Carlton. It was fine. You know what it is. Sibby is... I like Sibby, but... You can tell that it was... a beta, in a way. It really did feel like a demo for Haunting, the first one, sorry. Haunting Adeline. But it was fine. It was fine. It was fine. Nothing amazing, good, or bad. Then I read Nestling by Nat Cassidy. And I really liked this, actually. This was really good. Nestlings by Nat Cassidy was super good. I like any book where you're in a weird building and weird things are happening, and that's what this book was. This book gave me... I don't even remember what the book is called now because I got rid of it, but it reminded me of another book I read last year, I think. It's all like, oh, I'm a mother and the child is evil. I don't know. I just like how Nat Cassidy wrote. It felt very good in that sense. Nat Cassidy, good writer. He write good. I want to read his other two books. And while this book wasn't like, oh my god, scary, like I was never physically like, ooh, I'm scared reading this book. I didn't hate it. I've been saying that a lot. But no, I actually really did. It was tense, I guess. Not scary, but tense. And it did a really good job of making me wonder, like, what is actually happening here? What is going to happen next? I have to know. I am a curious George. He just did a very good job of giving me just enough breadcrumbs to make me want to turn the page more and figure out what was actually going on. Yeah, yeah. Then I read the first Katana Gatari, or Sword Tale, by my boy, Nissoi. I love Nissoi. We've talked about this back in January. He's himself. No one really writes like him, and this book was apparently incredibly complex to translate, which doesn't surprise me, but you can see, like, on every page, there's, like, just so many of these footnotes explaining, like, here's what the actual Japanese word was and why we picked the word we picked. I thought it was very interesting, almost just for that alone, to see the translation process so, like, laid bare like that. It was cool. I like Nissoi. I'm excited to read the next three. Technically, this was 3 books in one, but we're only counting it as one book because there's no way to read them, by themselves. They're all in this. And they're all, like, not even 100 pages. Like, just barely over or under 100 pages. Then I read The Best of Me by Nicholas Sparks. I fucking hated this book. I hated this book so much. It was so bad. It was a whole bunch of Hallmark bullshit, and the whole time I was like, is she really gonna leave her husband for this dude she hasn't seen in over a decade? And then he just fucking dies. It's a dumbass end. I hated the ending. I hated the book. The drama and, like, the sadness comes out of literally fucking nowhere. It's not earned. It's not deserved. It just shows up. And it's like, hey, sorry, fuck you. Here's bad things that happen. It was so dumb. I fucking hated that book. I hate Nicholas Sparks. Fuck that book. Another book I fucking hated was 1,000 Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. I don't know how to speak languages, but this book was just miserable. It was just so sad. Only sad things happen in this fucking book. And, I get it. They're realistic sad things, and I understand it, but they should have just killed that guy way fucking sooner. So such a horrible, like, just soul-crushing, sad book. And unlike the Nicholas Sparks book, that sadness was earned. But when I read fiction, I want to read things that don't make me sad, because I make myself sad enough by living every day. I read fiction to be happy. Yeah, then I read Where's Molly by H.D. Carlton, which is a spin-off of the Cat and Mouse books, and this one was the worst one yet. I don't know. I didn't really care about Molly. I didn't care about the stupid guy whose name I couldn't remember. It was just fine. It's more cat and mouse. You know what it is. There's sex. There's the occasional murder. It's like, who... They're all the same book, literally, at this point. Zaid was in it for, like, 2 pages. Cool. Thank God Zaid's here. Then I read The Alien Omnibus 1 by Steve Perry. So I read all 3 of these, and I consider all 3 of these separate books because I could get them just separately. They were, published separately. But first we read Earth Hive, which was good. Also, I don't know where these take place in the timeline. It's kind of messy. I want to say they take place after Aliens 3 because Ripley is, like, just offhandedly mentioned in the first book, being, like, like, oh, she survived the Nostromo, she survived the other one that I can't name, and now there's like they offhandedly mention a prison planet, which makes me think like, okay, this happened after Alien 3, but I don't know. There's no real concrete yes or no about that. But it was cool. I liked Earth Hive. It's about this girl named Billy and this guy who I already forgot the name of, even though I just read these. Wilkes. I wanted to say Wallace, which I knew was wrong. But Billy and Wilkes. Wilkes saved Billy as a child on this planet called Rim from the Xenomorphs, and now like Billy is having these dreams about the Xenomorphs, and Wilkes breaks her out of a mental hospital because people think the dreams about the aliens are just her going crazy. They don't believe Xenomorphs are real. But Wilkes has been assigned on this mission to go and kill some aliens, or actually he's assigned to bring aliens back so people can make them into weapons, like, bioengineer new, cooler aliens. That doesn't work for them, obviously, and the whole Earth is eventually taken over by aliens. Super cool. And then the next one is Nightmare Asylum. So Billy and Wilkes have escaped Earth. They go to this place. They go to this other planet where it's run by this guy named General Spears, who's an absolute fucking loon, who's essentially like, yes, I have trained all of these xenomorphs. They are my soldiers. We will go back to Earth, and me and my 14 xenomorphs and a queen are definitely going to take back Earth for humans. Aren't I the coolest guy ever? You'll never guess what happens to him. His xenomorph army turns on him. Crazy, crazy stuff. Never would have expected it. And then the final one is the female war. Ripley's back. Crazy. This is also why I say I don't know when the fuck this is supposed to take place in terms of the movies, because Ripley's back. And she's here with Wilkes and Billy again, and Ripley's like, I'm also having those weird dreams that you're having, Billy. Or I was. I haven't been recently, but I used to. And there's a bunch of other people on this space station that have them too. And we've realized that that's the queen, the queen of all queens, on what is maybe their actual home planet. We're going to go get her and take her to Earth so that we can nuke Earth and get rid of all the aliens. Aren't I so smart, Wilkes and Billy? I'm Lieutenant Ellen Ripley. It was cool. I think Female War was actually better than the other two, just because I feel like more happened. And as much as I love General Spears, I thought he was a really funny character. But Wilkes and Billy and Ripley and a bunch of other people that are also having the dreams, so it kind of feels like the first Alien movie where, there's this tight little group of people that are on a spaceship, but instead of the aliens coming to the spaceship comes to the aliens. It was good. And it actually, unlike Death Troopers, my least favorite tie-in book, it actually does a very good job of explaining why Ripley is here. Which I liked. I appreciated that. Good. All three of these were good, although if you're going to read any of them, I'd just say read The Female War, because, realistically, yeah, Wilkes and Billy do have history, and they kind of grow closer, and they have this whole, I'm old enough to be her father, he's old enough to be my father, but we could be in love, maybe we're in love thing, but, you don't really need it. You're just here to see xenomorphs. I know I was, anyway. Okay, after that, we read Guilty Pleasure by Laura K. Hamilton. I thought I would really like this because, I like me a good urban fantasy. I like Encrypted. I like the October Day series. I like that other guy that Jim Butcher did that I can't think of the name of right now because my brain is incredibly tiny. This is about a woman in St. Louis. I want to say San Francisco, but that's wrong. St. Louis, Anita Blake, vampires are real, they have human rights, crazy, but she's a vampire killer, because you can get a court order to be like, hey, you should kill these vampires because they are evil vampires. So she kills vampires, and in that book, in Guilty Pleasures, she does not kill vampires, because the head vampire is like, you gotta find somebody who's been killing the vampires better than you could kill the vampires. And there's this weird, like, forced romance with this loser named Philip. I don't know. His name doesn't matter. He's some soy boy that's, like, addicted to getting bit by vampires because, you know, I guess it feels good. I don't know. And he, of course, gets murked, and she's all like, no, Philip, I can't believe Philip's dead. Wah. I guess I gotta do this thing. And there's a really cool character named Edward who's just like, I'd just kill vampires for fun. Like, I don't care about the court orders. He's the best character. We all like Edward. I don't know. It's dumb. There's like 14 of them. I probably will not read the rest of them. Yeah. And then I read Pillow Thoughts by Courtney Pimpernel, which was a series of poetry, so I don't have much to say because poetry is very subjective. But I read it. I read some poetry, which I wanted to do more of this year anyway. And then the last book I read literally today was Phantom by H.D. Carlton. It's a prequel to the Cat and Mouse duet. It's about Gigi, her grandmother, who she finds the diaries of, and who was also being stalked, and who very obviously, this guy, Ronaldo, that's very obviously supposed to be like Zayd in a past life. They mention that in the actual books too, like, even in the past life, I'll find you forever, Adeline. Blah, 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 and shut up. I thought this one was better than Where's Molly? I don't know. These books have all blended together in like some horrible goo sex soup. Because it was the 40s, there was a lot less, gun in Virginia going on than in Cat and Mouse, but I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't actually see like the ending that we knew was coming, because we knew what the diaries said, because we've all read the Cat and Mouse duet, right? So we know what happened to Gigi. We know what actually happened to Gigi, but we don't get any of that. Frank, who is arguably like would be the most interesting character in this situation, is barely ever there. They name drop Mark like once at near the very end of the book. They're like, "Oh, Mark, Frank's 8-year-old son who has violent tendencies." That's the same Mark from the Cat and Mouse duet who eventually, does all that bad stuff. But I don't know. It was fine. The ending was actually very sweet, which shocked me considering, this is an H.D. Carlton book. But, yeah. There you go. 16 books this month. And as you can tell, that might be a bit too many, because my brain feels very squishy, and I don't really remember major details about any of them. Which is fine. I'm one book away right now from hitting my goal this year of 90. Phantom by H.D. Carlton was number 89. So October, I'm going to slow my roll. My only goal in October is to finish the 3 Katana Gachari books that I have not finished. So hopefully, we can just chill. And then we're doing the exact opposite thing, and in November I'm going to read like a psychopath. That's all I'm going to do with my free time is read. Just read. But I hope you're doing well. What did you read in September? Did you read anything good? Did you read anything that maybe had more plot substance than H.D. Carlton books, which I like, but I'm still going to shit on? Yeah. Have a good one, party people. I love you. And if you're still here, you're crazy. Please, just one like.